Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson and Honey Girl is with me. Today we're going to start with our 2026 show for reviewing the 6th grade New York State math exam. We'll be taking examples from the 2023 exam. Good exam. If you need help with your homework, there's Dial a Teacher Homework Helpline at 212-777-3380. They're open Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Give them a call. They're very nice people and they are willing to help you out. You can watch Dr. Robinson and Ani on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson, PKMS, Peekskill Middle School. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Write me a comment because I do write back. We have our PKMS, Peekskill Middle School, annual movie, Math Prep 19, now available on YouTube, so check it out. You can X me at drobmath1. Watch Teacher Time Tuesdays on, Watch Teacher Time Tuesdays on Cablevision, 6 o'clock to 6:30. It's a good program for teachers. You can check us out on Peekskill and Ossining, Channel 15, Yorktown, Channel 74, and New Rochelle, Channel 76. Watch Math Time on Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the same channels. All right, let us get going. This is question number 2 from the 2023 exam, grade 6. And we have some points here on a number line. P, Q, R, and S are plotted there. Below, what point represents the location of the value -1 and 1/3? So -1 and 1/3, so all we have to do is first look for -1. That's where I would start at, because I have 2 ones here, but one has a negative sign in front of it, which means I got to go to this guy over here. So there's my -1. Now I got to find the 1/3. All right, we can find the 1/3 by counting by thirds. So let's count by thirds. All right, we'll be right here at -1. So this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So there are our thirds, and we're only interested in just the 1/3, which is our first spot, which is the letter Q. So -1 and 1/3 is point Q. Yay, we got it right. Let's keep moving. A bakery owner bakes 450 cookies each day. That's important, and that's a lot of cookies. Some of them are my favorite. Which equation can be used to determine the number of cookies, called C, that's good to know, the owner bakes for any number of days D? All right, so for any number of days called D. So 450 cookies every day. So day 1, so I'll put the number of cookies, and over here I'll make a little chart, days. So first day, 450 cookies. Second day, he would make 450 cookies plus another 450 cookies because we were counting the previous days that he did it. So he now has, I believe, 900 cookies on day 2. But I'm not going to add up because I want to see what happens on the 3rd day. So he has 450 cookies on the first day, plus another 450 cookies on the 2nd day. Now on the 3rd day, he baked another 450 cookies. So this is starting to add up real quick. But we're interested in the number of cookies for any number of days. So that's a little misleading when you look at the answers, because I'm looking for C cookies, so I know cookies are going to equal 2, so I know it has to equal C. So I'm going to look at my choices and get rid of choice B because that equals D. So that means that one is wrong automatically. Now here's equals C, and this one equals C, the number of cookies, but D, I'm going to get rid of that one also because that equals the number of days, and we don't need that. So our answer choices have been slimmed down, so it's either choice A or choice C. So let's look at choice A. Cookies equals days plus 450. That doesn't make sense because the number of days over here is 450s, and if you look, I'm always adding extra 450 to the previous days. So yeah, I see days plus 450, but that doesn't seem to add up right, because if I were to look at the number of cookies, and let's go back to our chart over here. For one day, I have 450 cookies. Okay, I got that. I could add up 450 and 450 to get the 900, but it would be a little bit quicker if I took 450 and multiplied it by the number of D days. Like the 3rd day, 450 cookies can be multiplied by the number of days, D again. So that way I don't have to keep adding that up. My cookies are going to equal to 450 times the number of days. So I don't have to do a lot of repeated addition of 450. So I'm going to eliminate choice A because that's days plus 450. So I can see how you can get confused on that, but it's got to be choice C. 450 times the number of days equals the amount of cookies. So choice C is the one I would go with, and it says we're correct. Good question. Okay, what is the value of the expression? Oh my God, look at all of that. We got a lot going on here. 3 parenthesis 7 minus 2 parenthesis plus 5, and it has an exponent up there of 3, and we call that cube. And then we got this fraction bar here, which means divide by 2. So we got to find the value of that. This is going to take us some doing because we got to figure out where to start. Well, hopefully you remember this little statement. PEMDAS, parenthesis, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. This tells you when you have a lot of operations to do, where to start first. So, it works a lot of the time, 99% of the time, but there's one time when it doesn't work so well, so we'll hopefully won't run into that, but you never know. But you can depend on PEMDAS helping you out 99% of the time. So here's our problem, and I'm going to start with the parenthesis first. What's inside of it? 7 minus 2 is inside the parenthesis. So if we do that, we'll have a 5 there. So 7 minus 2 is 5. I wrote everything else out, the 3 times the 5, plus the 5 to the exponent of 3, divided by 2. So we got our parenthesis done. So we're trying to make this problem a little bit easier to deal with. So let us go to the exponent. So that 5 has an exponent, and it's 5 to the third. And I'm sorry.
Call from Big Rush.
I'm sorry about that. So we're dealing with the exponent. Let me get a pen tool. And 5 to the third. If you're curious how I got 125, that means I have to expand the 5 3. And the 3 is the number of times that I have to expand it to. And I'm going to multiply. And I wrote a dot there because that's the multiplication decimal. And that's just one way of writing multiplication. Let me bring down this last 5, because 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 times 25 is 125. So that's where I got the 125. Notice how much cleaner and easier it is starting to look, so we can figure out which is going to be our answer. But we're not finished yet, because we have a plus sign and we got parentheses here. And if our next one will be multiply, and I don't see a multiplication decimal or x, but I know a number next to parenthesis means multiply. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 5, and that gives me 15. So I have 15 plus 125. So all I got to do is clean up the top, because it's hard to divide by 2, because you got two numbers up there being added together. So I know it says divide, but here's one of the times where you can't do that, because you got a fraction with the numerator that's doing something that you need to get one number. So I'm going to add up 15 and 125, and I believe that adds up to 140. Now I can divide. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 0 will be put at the end of that, and that'll give me 70. So that's the answer? Yep, 70. All of that work you had to do for letter C, which is our answer of 70. Well, I hope you got that. If you're not sure, rewatch the video and write your question, write me, or you talk to your teacher, and they'll explain it to you. But if you get it, great, because this is good stuff. Okay, the figure below shows a shaded triangle with a rectangle within a rectangle. All right, so you got that little shaded right triangle there, and you got your rectangle. They want to know, what is the area in square centimeters of the part of the rectangle that is, and I'll circle this, not shaded. So in other words, they're saying about the white part here. So they want to know, how much is the white area? Well, let's look at the rectangle first. So I have to find the area of the entire rectangle. So my dimensions are 8 and 7 centimeters. So if you remember, area formula is length times width, or base times height. So I got to multiply those two sides. 8 times 7 is 56. So I got the area of the rectangle. So I got to get another area, though, the triangle. So I got to worry about that now. So if we can find its area, we'll be in good shape. So 5 times 4 is what we got. That would be our formula if we were doing a rectangle. But we're not doing a rectangle, we're doing half of a rectangle. That's why that formula, 1/2 base times height, or 1/2 length times width, is there, because it's half of a rectangle. So I'm going to put my numbers in, my base at the bottom, which is 4, and my height of the rectangle of the triangle is 5. So I got to multiply 1/2 4 times 5. So 4 times 5, by the way, is 20. And now I got to take half of 20, which is 10. So the area of this guy is 10. So I got two things going on here. I have the area of the big rectangle, which is 56, and I got the shaded area of the triangle, which is 10. If I only could take that away from the 56. So I'm going to do that. And it leaves this broken rectangle where our 10 was. If we put it back, so it was there. That leaves 46, not 56, because we took away the triangle, which was 10. So our answer is going to be, what is the area of the part with no shade on it? That's 46. So choice B would be our answer. That's a good question. So choice B. Let's move on. If you're not understanding so far, rewatch the video. But if you're getting it, I'm happy. So hang in there. The number 60 is 75% of what number? All right. So there's a couple ways we can deal with this, and I'm going to be very forward with you by drawing a circle. Sorry if my circle is not as nice and even as I would like, but I'll try to do better next time. So 75%, that means this part, and that part of the circle. And we know a whole circle is 100%. If we cut it into 4 parts, that means each part of the circle is 25%. 25% and 25%. Or we could say each part of the circle is 1/4. So if I had 60, I would divide it into 3 parts. Well, 4 parts, because it is 60. That would be almost right. I'm going to say I would divide it into fourths. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and that would be 4/4. But I only got 3 parts, which is 60. So I'm going to divide the 60 into 3 parts. That means each part is 20. And if each part is 20, that means this guy is 20, and this guy is 20, this guy is 20. That's 75% of the circle. And I'm left with 1 part. Well, I know all parts of the circle have to be equal. So that means this 1/4 that we didn't do anything with is also 20. So if all parts are 20, let me add them up. 20, 20, 20, and 20. That's 20 4 times. So that means my number is 80. So 60 is 75% of what number? And when you get up to the next grade, they'll just tell you to know words like is and of and what number, where you would take your 60 equals, because is another way of saying of equal. Of is another way of saying multiply by what number. So if you have time, and I'm going to run out of time if I keep talking so long, I would just divide this by 75%, both sides. And that's a little what the regular way you would do it. Another way you can take a look at it, you can take each one of these numbers and multiply it by the 75%, and I'll take the 80 times 75% and see what I get. Guess what you'll get? 60. So if you don't believe me, check it, try it. So those are a couple ways of doing it. Sorry if it's a little messy, but B is our answer, 80. Okay, how are we doing? Time is running out. This question is worth one credit. The lowest recorded temperature for each of the two states are listed below: -27, -35 degrees Fahrenheit. Write a statement. Okay, they want some type of sentence using, excuse me, these symbols: less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to compare the recorded temperatures of the two states. Well, if I had to write a statement, I would say one state is -35 degrees, which is really cold, because if you had a thermometer, you would know as the temperature goes down, it gets colder. So -35 is way down there at the bottom, cold, almost freezing point of water. -27 is a little bit higher than that. It's cold though, but it's higher than that, so it's a little bit warmer than that. So that's a sentence you could write. I wrote using the symbol -27 in this example is less than -35, or you could say -5 degrees is greater than or colder than -27. So the rule basically is the higher the number, the low for temperature, the lower the temperature. Later on in 7th and 8th grade and so forth, you'll rewrite these inequalities correctly with when they're dealing with integers. All right, this is worth 2 credits. List below shows the cost of the same candles in 2 different stores. Stores ABC sells 6 of these candles for $12. So 6 for 12. And I'll put a 6 there. And store XYZ sells 8 candles for $14. Let me write that down there. So $14 for 8 candles. Excuse me. Which store sells the candle for a lower unit rate? A lower unit rate. So a unit rate, that's good to know. That's the cost of one item. So I'm going to get my calculator, because this is the part of the test where 6th graders should be able to use a calculator. And I'm going to divide these fractions up. 12 divided by 6 equals 2. So $2 for one candle. And let me keep going. 14 divided by 8. And that's $1.75. Let me put that out there. There's my unit rates. So which one's lower? Well, $1.75 is lower. So there, X, Y, Z, that store sells it for a cheaper unit rate. All right, let's keep moving. Hope you understand what's going on. If you don't, rewatch the video. I guarantee you'll get it. Just hang in there. If you get it, though, Keep going. It's good stuff. Now is the time to introduce Ani, if she's awake. Ani, you awake over there?
Yeah.
Can you come over and take a look at this?
Yes.
Thank you, Ani girl. So it's Ani time. Ani time. Ani time. Ani time. Ani time. All right, Ani. Here's your question. Find the sum, which means add, 2 6 plus 3 6.
5 6.
Thank you. 5 6. You got it. And if you remember, in adding fractions with the same bottom number or denominator, you add the top numbers and you get your answer. So 5 6 is correct. 2 square root of 6 plus 3 square root of 6. Uh-oh. What does that equal to, Ani?
2 plus 3 is 5, so 5 square root of 6.
Thank you. 2 plus 3, she said, is 5. Because when you're adding like fractions here, square roots have the same rule. Your radicand, which is the number inside the square root sign, must be the same in order to add the outside numbers. So that's it, all to it. And let me put a square root of 6 in there, and I'll combine that and make it look nice and neat, just like the fraction. 5 square root of 6. Thank you, Ani.
Welcome.
So I hope you enjoyed our video. If you need help, call those people at 212-777-3380. Just in time. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. They will help you. That Dial a Teacher hotline is really good. Watch Teacher Time on Tuesdays on Cablevision Optimum at 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. You could watch us in Peekskill Ossining on Channel 15. Also, you could see us in Yorktown on Channel 74 if you have Optimum. New Rochelle, Channel 76. Math Time comes on Tuesdays as well. Check us out at 4:30 to 5 p.m. on the same channels. Watch Dr. Rob and Ani on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson, PKMS. Subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. And write us a comment. I don't mind. I write back. Check out our PKMS Math Prep 22. You can tweet me at or X me at DRobMath1. Study with me and Ani. You can write us at robinsonmath@aol.com if you want more of this good stuff. So, buena suerte en los exámenes. Good luck on your exam. I know you're going to do well because you're watching our videos. All right, this is the end of our show for today. Thank you so much for watching me and Ani, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.